G'day everyone, welcome to the unboxing of Dark Souls, the board game. So, Dark Souls, the board game, fantastic. I mean, just the size of the box is phenomenal. I mean, the fact that you just have all of this stuff. I mean, look at it. Look at it, it's just huge. And seriously, look at that. Look at that, it's almost my hand span. So, Dark Souls, made by Steamforged Games Limited. A Kickstarter for quite a while. I managed to pick mine up from EB Games, which is quite good. So what I want to do is I just want to have a quick look at some of the stuff that it comes with. And I think my favourite part about it is when you open the box. Just as you open it right now, they've got such suction in these boxes. When you open the box, the first thing you see is you died. I mean, how classically Dark Souls is that? I mean, just look at the artwork on the box. I mean, look at him. This is fantastic. Ooh, oops. Alright, so you get out of You Died, and then what you've got is you're confronted with a box. You've got a box of cards, which are still unopened because I only picked this up yesterday. But it's got player cards, treasure cards, a whole bunch of different things inside there, which is just everything you obviously need to play the game. And my favourite things, moving this little bag of DVDs out of the way, is the miniatures. I mean, so this first box is essentially just your mini bosses and your bosses. And as you can see, you've got things under there with the second box, as well as the tiles that make up the board game. I really just want to bring some attention to these miniatures. I mean, look at them. Just look at them. They've got some really great detail. I think this is probably one of my favourites. And could you imagine just painting these up? I mean, look at them. Fantastic. Dark Souls, the board game. So you've got 6 guys just there. Got a little bugger to put back in. They all go in a very specific way. These things are going to be great to get on the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you some of the models, show you what you get in the box, and then I'm just going to set it up as an initial game type so you can see what's happened, or how it sort of, I guess, plays through. Plus this is my first real playthrough anyway, so I'll definitely be referring to rules and all that sort of stuff. And then the second box comes with more of your lower level kind of entities. So you've got your character models in here as well, and it comes in 2, that's right, you heard it here, 2 separate trays. So you've got the first tray, which has a lot of your sentinels and all that sort of stuff. So your first tray there, I mean, look at them, they're such detailed models, they're exquisite. And then the second tray, which has your 4 hero characters, and then just some more plebs to fight against. You also have some dice, different coloured dice, which do different things. So you've got some green dice, which are your dodge dice, and the rest of your dice are attack dice. Now, blacks, as far as I can tell, blacks are your most basic, and your orange is probably your strongest, with a couple of 4s on there, and a lot more 3s than 2s and 1s. Blues seem to be quite average, 2s, 3s with a couple of 1s, and then greens are just your dodge dice. So greens are what's going to mean that you missed, or you're going to be able to survive. So moving these out of the way, it comes with some board tiles. So these board tiles, the way they're inbuilt in the box, you have to excuse me. And that's a character tile. Went a little bit ahead of myself, but that's okay. Slide that back in there for a second. So here they are, the board tiles. So as you can see, double-sided for added fun. And these little circles on them are called nodes, so that's what you move on to, and that's what your bosses and stuff move on to as well. They have different rules for different things, but there's spawning points, which as far as I'm aware are the red ones just there. You've got just more kind of, I mean, look at the detail on it. It's really Dark Souls. It really kind of takes you into what's going to happen. Now the skull on this one means that it's a boss tile, so when you get to actually fighting the boss, that's where the boss is standing, and you'll enter the room through the doorway. Just some more broken. I mean, this takes me back. I really enjoyed the games, even though they were playing through tar, should I say. So these are all the boards, and then finally you've got the classic starting board. So you've got your hearth, you've got your souls, obviously everything that you kill you get souls for. You've got your inventory. You've also got your treasure deck just there, so you can complete different objectives to get treasures. Everyone starts off with some treasures. It's pretty kind of cool. You go here to level up, and you go here to increase the increase your weapons, so to make your weapons better. Now another cool thing, just a couple more tiles that have been put in. So another boss tile, another couple of tiles just there and there. We'll drop those just there. Now another great thing is you've got these bits here. So these are some of your tokens. So you've got some of your souls just along here. You've got a couple of movement dials for your different bosses, the different things that they can do. I mean, they're just... oh, I popped one. Damn it. That's it. Popped one by accident. I'm going to have to pop all of them now. Back up. Ah, there goes another one. Damn it. So let's move these out of the way. And we'll head down into some of the character sheets. So this one here, this is the assassin. So as you can see, you've got the special attacks that you can do, the different bits of armour and weapons that you can wear. So armour, belts, amulets, how many health potions you get. And then this here, this is your stats. So this is how good you are at different things, which I think is awesome. And you obviously level that up by spending souls. And so the way that you mark them is with these here. So everyone gets an individual colour. It's 4 colours. Oh no, sorry, that's a lie. Everyone uses white to mark where they are, and so you start off, everyone starts on base, and then you spend souls to move forward. So to increase in tiers, to obviously get stronger. And then along here you have stamina and health. So this just marks, I guess, how much damage you can take and what you can do. Now I don't know if you can... yeah, got a bit of a light there. Don't know if you can see that there. The backstab says, once per spark, after making a successful dodge, the assassin may attack the enemy he dodged. The attack does not cost stamina, but must have range to the enemy. And range is another cool thing too. So, depending on what weapons you use, depends obviously on the range that you have. And then we've got the knight just here. So he's the second of the 4 classes. Well, again, same thing, except for yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. Except for he's got the stand fast ability. So once per spark, after making a block roll, the knight may roll an additional blue dice and add it to the roll, which is kind of cool. I mean, I haven't seen the knight in action yet, so I don't really know how cool it is. But I'm definitely going to be testing this out, and I'm going to be filming that one as well, just a single player game. Probably make mistakes, I'm not going to lie. That's what happens when I play games the first time. It's just a learning thing. You got the warrior next. So he's got Berserk Charge. So once per spark during his activation, the warrior may move 1 node without spending stamina. The next range 0 attack he makes costs 0 stamina and gains an icon. So I'd have to double check what that icon is, because to be honest, the rulebook I already pulled out to have a look at. That's why I knew what was in here. But I just wanted to sort of unbox it for you guys so you could see what's going on. And then you've got the Herald. So the Herald special rule is Perseverance, sorry. So once per spark during his activation, the Herald may use Perseverance. When he does, each character gains 2 stamina. So he's your real kind of buffing hero from what I can see. Everyone can obviously make different sort of attacks and magical attacks and all that kind of stuff. But it just looks like a really interesting game. Now the gameplay, the cool part about this too, is that if we look on the back of the box, so it's for 1 to 4 players. So for those of you like myself who like to game alone before you game with other people, this is it. This is the game for you. So 27 highly detailed miniatures, 9 double-sided game board tiles, 4 player boards, 64 health and stamina cubes, so that's these. 15 dice, which we've had a look at, 121 tokens, the 252 cards, 8 tracker dice, and a rulebook. Now the rulebook, just to show you what that looks like, is really amazing. So it's got a nice bit of artwork on the front, and just some scales with Dark Souls, the board game. Then as you go through, it's full colour. It's got an introductory story, which kind of really just gets you into the mode for playing the game. Then you've got who your main bosses and your mini bosses are. So main and mini bosses are dictated by the symbol. So as you go back through the video, you'll see that there are two different types of skulls. Main bosses have a little crown over the skull, the mini boss doesn't. And obviously it's randomly drawn as to who you're going to fight. Your treasure deck, so you've got 13 starting equipment cards, 40 class specific treasure cards, 60 common treasure cards, 10 legendary items, and 18 boss treasure cards. So the way the game works is you set up your board and you play a series of little skirmishes until you're ready to take on the boss, at which point you fight a mini boss. After the mini boss is killed, or after you kill the mini boss, any treasures that he drops are added into the treasure pile, and you have the ability to pull them, or the chance to pull them. And then you do the same sort of thing where, this is just the classic setup right here, same sort of thing where you battle your way through the rooms till finally you get through the fog gate to verse the boss, which will be the main boss, and you have a go at it. Now, a cool thing to note is that you get bonfire sparks. So bonfire sparks has a limited number of sparks based on the number of players. So place the spark dial on the bonfire tile, with the dial displaying the correct number from the table below. So if you're playing a one-player game, it's 5 sparks, 4 for 2 players, 3 for 3 players, and 2 for 4 players. So it makes the game a little bit more challenging, but then if you've got more people playing, you should be able to handle it. Moving through again, tiles and nodes, so it just gives you the basics of how it all works, just how your character setup is, what your Estus Flask tokens do, how the bonfire tile works. So like I said, you've got the bonfire, treasure deck, inventory, soul cache, blacksmith Andre, and then the firekeeper. And so they all do different things, and as we play through the game, I'll show you what happens. You'll be able to understand how it is. The leveling system is really cool too. So from base to tier 1 it costs you 2 souls. From tier 1 to tier 2 costs you 4 souls. And from tier 2 to tier 3 costs you 8 souls. So you have to do a little bit of math, but it's definitely worth it. And souls, as far as I understand, are collective. So if you're playing a 4-player game, you gather your souls, and when you are ready to level up, when you're talking to the firekeeper, you're obviously going to divide the souls amongst yourselves as evenly as possible, unless you've got someone that's a bit over the top. You can also go back to the firekeeper, I believe, at any time, but I will double check that. So what happens is, when you go into the exploration phase, the party moves from tile to tile through the doorways. When the party enters a new tile, flip the encounter card that's on that tile face up. This marks the beginning of an encounter. The party can freely move through tiles that already have their encounter cards face up. So your encounter cards is when you're going to encounter some of these models that we looked at before. Not necessarily the main mini and main bosses so much, but just the rest of your stuff. So where did I put them? All of these guys right here is what you're likely to sort of see, the people you're likely to have to fight. Yep, so red ones indicate how many models should be placed on there. Purple nodes are terrain. So there are some sort of terrain features like chests and headstones and a whole bunch of stuff that you can look through. There's barrels, gravestones, and chests. Also traps as well. So looking at something we looked at earlier that I didn't really know what it was, I kind of just brushed over it a little bit, was a trap card. A trap token. And this here is your basic encounter setup. So you've walked through the doorway, if you've got enemy, trap, free node, and then you've got terrain just there. Now nodes are really cool because there are only a certain amount of things that can be on a node, and maximum is up to 3 models. So you can have an enemy, 2 heroes, 2 enemies and a hero, 3 enemies. In order for you to get on that node, you have to be able to push another model off of it, or to just move another model off of it. And there are certain spells that allow you to do that, which make the game very handy, open it up to a great bunch of tactical advantages. But to be honest, I think it's just going to be fun. It looks really cool. Goes through the combat basics, character activations, character movement, enemy activations, enemy attacks, how much damage they do, and then boss encounters, they have behavior cards, and it just looks really good. It just kind of looks like they've really taken the game, put it on the table. And if you don't get too much time to, well, it's going to sound a little hypocritical if you don't get too much time to play games, but this game takes about, I'd probably say between 60 to 90 minutes. Yeah. Wonderful players. 90 to 120 minutes. So if you're playing 2 hours of board games, you've probably got time to play 2 hours of video games. But I feel like board games would be better. So ending boss encounters is just here, how the boss moves and attacks. The post-game ritual, which is cool. It's just another little bit of artwork with just a little blurb which says, whether basking in the glory of victory or writhing in the agony of defeat after completing a game of Dark Souls the board game, players should return all cards to the proper decks. Be careful to keep encounter cards separated by level, treasure cards separated by type and class, and boss materials separated for each individual boss. You know what? Good gamers do that. Just like re-racking your weights at a gym. But if anyone watches this that goes to the gym, I'm sure you already re-rack your weights. It's also got campaign rules, so how you can add and drop players, what the setup does, how to progress through the campaign so you can play a couple of different I guess stories. So the first one, you've got the first journeys, which is Dark Souls 1. You've got the Coiled Sword, which is Dark Souls 3. And I don't think you have a Dark Souls 2 in here. And if you do, I've missed it. All the pages come out. No, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Okay, cool. So there's 2 in here, but then you have your own options to be able to track it so you can work out where you're at, how many sparks you've used. And this is something you're obviously going to want to photocopy, just so you're not writing it in your book, because if you're like me, you're not going to want to write it in the book. But I mean, the artwork in here is just phenomenal. Ugh. Sorry, my camera's, let me just close up on that one. Ah. Damn it. That's not really helpful. I'll go back down here. But the artwork, as you can see, it's just great. I mean, just look at it. Look at the detail that this has gone into. Definitely worth the price tag. So in Australia, I guess, well, it's not hefty. It's probably the same as what you'd pay for an average board game anyway. I mean, Swords of Catan is like $75 depending on where you go. So this one will set you back about $168, give or take. But it's the same with sort of any Fantasy Flight miniature game that you, Fantasy Flight game that you get. They're about the same price. They've got the same sort of play time and what look like good replayability. So that is it. Hopefully you enjoyed the little presentation. Give us a like and a subscribe if you did. Leave a comment if we can improve it in any way. But until next time, guys, play more games.